Hello, it is wonderful to be back with you again today. Thank you for joining me. Today's is going to be a pretty short video on the subject of doing things differently. Shaking things up is what I've called this video. I work with an amazing energy healer now and then. Her name is Sarah. She's phenomenal. And she was the first person who mentioned to me this idea of shaking up what you're doing, change things around. Because apparently it's really good for our emotional health if we do brand new things or do things differently. Because apparently it releases dopamine into the body, that feel-good chemical that gives us that just exhilarating feeling. And we just, it makes us feel rewarded in some way. So that's one good reason to do it. And also, when we do things differently, what we're kind of, instead of running the same old programs and having the same responses to everything in our lives, if we pause and do things differently, we're kind of undoing that hard wiring in our brains instead of that well-trodden route that this is how we respond when that happens. If instead, with a pause, we go in a different direction, we do something else, or perhaps not react at all and stay calm, then what we're doing is creating new neurological pathways in our brain, making our brains more flexible. Yes, which then opens up more possibilities and opportunities for different ways of behaving and showing up in the world. And then we find that the universe responds to that and brings us new experiences. It's sort of like a positive feedback mechanism. So what do I mean by doing things differently? Well, for example, if you always drive the same way somewhere, particular whether it's a health appointment or whether it's taking the kids to school or whether it's going into town or going to the supermarket, whatever you're up to, but you have your regular route, do it differently. I dare you, go a different way, switch it up. And even if it takes you 5 minutes longer, leave 5 minutes earlier, just go a different way. Go, you know what? I never go this way back. This is really picturesque. I'm going to go this way back and admire the view, soak it in. So that's one possibility. And another one is you always have your particular routine for exercise. So for me, I tend to have certain days that I like to ride my bike. Well, it's like, take a look at it each week and switch those days up. Go, you know what? I'm going to cycle this day instead of that way. Or change the type of exercise that you're doing. So your body isn't always used to the same old. Do something that you don't normally do. Or maybe you have your favorite coffee shop. Try a different one. Go somewhere else. Don't go to the same old place. Or perhaps your favorite restaurant that you go to all the time. Go, you know what? I'm going to go and try this one. I'm going to do something different. Wear your hair down instead of forever wearing it up. I don't know, paint your toenails black instead of pink. It can be on every level. Maybe you do your washing of your clothes on a certain day. Change that. Yeah, the list is really endless, actually. My one, I think the reason I thought of this right before Thanksgiving was it is, as I said earlier, a way of sort of changing our ingrained patterns. For me, I tend to take on way too much when it's holiday time. For Thanksgiving and for Christmas, I do all these tasks. I'm preparing the shopping lists and deciding what to cook, preparing the shopping lists, doing all the cooking, buying it all and doing all the cooking and everything. It's like kind of go. There's this, there's that. And I'm exhausted, really exhausted. This year, I asked myself, what do I really want on Thanksgiving? And the answer was lemon meringue pie. Now, I like a really good lemon meringue pie. So I haven't made one for decades. And when I looked at the recipe, it's going to take hours. It's rather involved, literally hours. And I thought, there's no way I can make that with everything else that I do. So I thought, I know, I'm going to make this dessert that I never normally make. That's the first thing I'm doing differently. And I'm going to delegate. I'm seriously going to delegate rather than just kind of offhandedly saying, yeah, and will you guys help me with this? And can you help me with that? And that's hit and miss as to where the help comes from. So I'm actually writing out a whole list of tasks, and people are going to sign their names next to them. That's what they're going to do to free me up to make this lemon meringue pie. So yeah, that is a good example of doing something really differently, shifting out of our old sort of restrictive ways of being that actually don't feel good because I was feeling overloaded with doing that. This way I get to be creative and make something entirely new that I have been longing for. That's one example. So the other thing is, if we get triggered by something or somebody, and instead of, there's this sort of what I feel, it's like when we bring our awareness to it, there's like a moment when we're aware we've been triggered, something is like, a bit like that, you know? And it's so automatic to fall into our normal ways of responding to that. You know, if somebody says something that kind of annoys us, we come straight back at them. It's like, you know what, just take a rest, take a breather. And choose to be still instead. Choose to be peaceful and still and just not respond. That's okay. Be silent or change the subject. Just break the pattern. So I suppose that's the other thing. It's like breaking patterns by doing things differently. So good for us. It's good for our brains, good for our emotional life, great for everything. Right, okay, that's my suggestion for today. And the other thing I want to share with you, I'm excited to say that in January, I am going to be starting online Zoom meetings once a month. And they're really all going to be about coming together in soulful community with people who really want to make changes in their lives and want to open into loving themselves more deeply, or at all in some cases. And so we'll gather, and there'll be transmissions, there'll be channelings, and a time for people to actually speak directly with me. And then I can guide people through things as well and answer questions if anyone's getting stuck in certain things on their spiritual journey or wants some assistance with making changes, really, I suppose. Anyway, so that's what it's going to be once a month, and I am really, really looking forward to it, and I'm calling it Self-Love Sanctuary. And what I'm going to do for all the people who watch my videos on YouTube, and thank you so much for doing that, I'm going to give you a code for the first one, like a coupon code, so which you can enter at the checkout. So the first one in January, which will be January 4th, will be absolutely free. My gift from my heart to you, for you to come and experience it and benefit from it. So anyway, more about that next time or at some other point, but I just want to put it out there. I'm really looking forward to giving birth to this group and seeing how it evolves. I have a feeling it's going to take on a whole life of its own. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being with me again. It has been a pleasure as always. And for my American friends, have a fabulous Thanksgiving on Thursday. And I'm already looking forward to the next time that we connect. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share it with your friends. Let's spread love in the world. Okay, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye.